Hi, my name is Caitlin Popecki, and I'm here today to show you how to all make pumpkin pie. Now, pumpkin pie is perfect for a Christmas dessert or a Thanksgiving dessert or whenever you're craving it. And first, before you start cooking, you should either put on an apron or a t-shirt because it can get very messy. And there are two components to pumpkin pie, the crust and the pumpkin-y part. And these are all the ingredients that you need. Besides ingredients, you also need materials to cook, such as measuring cups and sifters, and your pie plate. Now first we're going to make the pie crust, but in order to do that, first thing we have to do is measure flour. Now you have to take a cup of all-purpose flour, pour it in, now level it off. And before this goes into the mixing bowl for the flour, it has to be sifted. So you pour it in and sift away. So the purpose of sifting is so that the flour won't clump up and it'll be easier for the pie and it'll be more delicious. So after we're done sifting, you take the 1 cup measuring cup and you remeasure the sifted flour. Almost there. Level it out again, so level, and pour it into your bowl. The next step is to take your shortening, Crisco, and we have to cut it into the flour. So with your shortening, we have to measure a 1/3 cup and a tablespoon. That has to be mixed in. And the 1/3 cup, level it off. And put this into the flour also. Shortening can get very sticky and gross, as you can tell. When you're done adding the shortening, you have to cut it into the flour. Now, there is a tool you can use for cutting in, or in case you don't want to waste money on the tool, you can just use a fork and a knife. When you're finished cutting in the shortening into the flour, they should all be around the same size of particle, look something like that. And after we're done cutting in, you have to add salt. Pop off the top. It's really just a pinch of salt. Level it off. Pour that in. After you add the salt, just mix it in so you can't see it, not too hard. Then we have to add 2 to 3 tablespoons of water to make the dry ingredients very moist so we can form them into a ball. That's not water. Tablespoon. Pour in 2 to 3. And now we mix it all together. After the water is added to the flour, it makes it all come together, and it should be all off the sides. There really shouldn't be any flour left on the side. And after it's all almost in a ball, you take your clean hands and you form it into a ball. After your dough is in a good ball, place it on a lightly floured surface. And since our pie pan is 9.5 inches, we have to roll it out to be 10.5 inches. So you go and keep it in the middle. You go in all different directions, and when it starts to pick up, you add more flour. So when you're done rolling out your pie crust, it'll look something like this. As long as within the 10.5 inches it's a circle. And the best part about using dough is that if a hole comes, like for instance, a little hole, it can be easily patched. And after, we have our pie crust. The easy way to do it, we have to transfer it into our pie pan. And the easy way to do it, especially if you have one of these floppable things. We turn it over and mold it right in. So after you pull this away and you have a pie like this, obviously there's holes and there's extra dough. So you get to patch the holes. Your holes are all patched, you take the extra 1.5 inches, approximately, and fold it over. So after you fold it over the extra dough, this is what it would look like. And if you want to make your pie look a little bit more pretty, you can flute the edges with a fork. And I'll show you in a minute. You get to go all the way around, but basically it looks like that. So now that we're done baking our shell, which we put aside, now we have to make the pumpkin inside of the pie. So we have our ingredients: sugar, salt, cinnamon, ginger, eggs, pumpkin, and evaporated milk. And the first thing we have to do is combine the 3/4 cup of sugar with a dash of salt, and a teaspoon of cinnamon, and slightly less than a teaspoon of ginger. When they're all added in the bowl, ta-da, we mix them together. Then after they're all mixed together, we have to crack 2 eggs. Don't get any shell in. And then mix until the eggs, you can't see the yolk. After we mixed in the eggs, it's important to wash your hands so you don't have egg yolk all over them. Add them up. They're nice and clean. And then we have our pumpkin mixture, yummy pumpkin, and 1 15-ounce can of it can be added. It may look gross, but it tastes good at the end. When that's added, you have to mix it in to get an interesting looking substance. And then this is 1.5 cups of evaporated milk, and you gradually add it in and stir. So after everything is mixed in, we're going to have a liquid-like pumpkin substance that looks like this. Yummy. Then we grab our beautiful homemade pie crust and we pour it in, trying not to spill over the edges. So when we're done, this is what our uncooked pumpkin pie looks like. And we go over to our 425-degree preheated oven, open it up, take your pumpkin pie, and try your best not to spill it. So in our preheated 425-degree oven, we carefully place our pumpkin pie in. Try not to burn yourself. Close it and keep it in for 1 hour.